Whether you like it or don't like it, sit down and look at it because it's the best going today. Woo!
G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. All social media is in the description box, and please hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I drop that heat. I know Billy Joe Saunders is sick. I know he is sick right now. Billy Joe Saunders just dropped his 160-pound WBO belt, and that was after a failed drug test from VADA for a drug called oxylofrin. And then the state of Massachusetts did not give Billy Joe Saunders a license to fight Demetrius Andrade, so they called off the fight. You can call this karma. You can call this somebody playing both sides of the street and they ended up getting ran over, or just bad luck. However you want to slice it, I know Billy Joe Saunders is sick right now. He needs Theraflu. He is sick. For real. And for a couple of reasons. Number one, he was supposed to make 2.3 milli. Oh, man, 2.3 mil down the drain. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to boxing business, if you're in the same room as Demetrius Andrade and you having worse luck than Demetrius Andrade, then you got pretty bad damn luck, man, because nobody has worse luck than Demetrius Andrade, man. But apparently in this situation, Billy Joe Saunders had worse luck than Demetrius Andrade. So that's a kick in the nuts. And then another thing is just karma. Karma is a motherfucker, boy. I tell you, karma is a motherfucker. Because when Canelo Alvarez got popped for the peds, when he got popped for the contaminated meat, you know what I'm saying? The main person that was criticizing Canelo Alvarez was Billy Joe Saunders. He said he was an embarrassment to the game. He was a disgrace to the game. He was a cheat. I mean, he was really giving it to Canelo Alvarez. So for anyone to have a positive drug test, for Billy Joe Saunders to have a positive drug test, that's a lot of karma. Whole lot of karma at the end of the day. Because he basically said Canelo Alvarez should not be forgiven for this. But now Billy Joe Saunders is at a point where he's asking for forgiveness. Weird, right? Very weird. You know? But at the end of the day, you know, that's his situation right now. That's his situation. Now, him playing both sides of the street in terms of this drug, oxylofrin, because the drug agencies that govern VADA, they are, under their rules, they are allowed to actually have their fighters use this drug basically up to the night of the fight and when they don't have a fight. But VADA, oxylofrin is on the ban list. And for anyone that wants to argue that Billy Joe Saunders should have got a license and he should have been able to defend his title against Demetrius Andrade, this is where you guys are wrong. Billy Joe Saunders was not in the UK. The UK drug companies, WADA, and I think is another drug company that the UK uses. I don't think it's USADA, but I think it's WADA, W-A-D-A, and it's another drug company that governs the UK fights. They allow oxylofrin, okay? WADA and that other company was not in the contract for this fight with Demetrius Andrade. Billy Joe Saunders and his team agreed to VADA testing. And on VADA testing, oxylophrin is on the banned list. So Billy Joe Saunders and his team signed the contract for this fight to be in the U.S. and for this fight to be tested by VADA. So the reason why it looks like Billy Joe Saunders is playing both sides of the street is because if they were upfront about taking oxylophrin, they should have bought that up before they signed the contract. They give you an opportunity to list anything that you've used before you sign the contract. This is the same situation as Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz said he had asthma or something like that. And that's why he was taking the drug that he was taking, but he never disclosed it in the paperwork. It's not the fact of whether Billy Joe Saunders was using it or not. If they want to use the excuse that they were using in terms of it being legal in the drug testing agencies in the UK, they should have brought that up when they had the opportunity to do so. When it came time to sign that contract for VADA testing, they should have said, hey, listen, we've been taking something called oxylophrin. It's legal. It's legal under USADA, under WADA. You understand what I'm saying? And they could have negotiated that and said, hey, listen, you put it on the paperwork, you were upfront. It's either one or two things. We either have to give an exemption in terms of the drug testing, even though it's going to be VADA, or we have to move this to a different location. Billy Joe Saunders and his team could have prevented this. That's the thing, by not being upfront and honest. That's why when Luis Ortiz got popped for the finest juices, the first time they were supposed to fight Deontay Wilder, they didn't disclose it on the paperwork. That was the problem. You understand what I'm saying? These drug agencies have exemptions if you're upfront with them. It's no way that Billy Joe Saunders would have got suspended. It's no way Billy Joe Saunders would have not been able to get a license or anything like that if he was upfront before he signed the VADA contract. If they wasn't liking what VADA was talking about in regards to the issue, then they could have just not signed the contract, like not have taken the fight. Or they could have negotiated for another location that would have had an understanding with the situation. This could have been prevented at the end of the day. I think part of that is Billy Joe Saunders is a Frank Warren fighter. The fight was going down on DAZN, and Eddie Hearn runs DAZN. So, I don't know if that has something to do with it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, if it's in the contract and you do something that's against the contract, then it's a breach of contract. And that's what Billy Joe Saunders has dealt with. Now, Victor Conte, who was linked up with Demetrius Andrade, he says oxylophrin is 10 times stronger than what Canelo Alvarez was using. Now, I would love to talk to another person that's prolific in the, in the drug industry and ask them if that's true or not. But if it is true, then Billy Joe Saunders was definitely getting a competitive advantage if he was basically using that on a consistent basis. And another reason why they couldn't let this fight go on, not only because it was a breach of contract, but if Billy Joe Saunders is using that drug and he's getting a competitive advantage under the same VADA rules, Demetrius Andrade couldn't use the drug. He couldn't use it. So Billy Joe Saunders was going to have an advantage either way. So it's good that You know, they didn't give him a license. But for him, you know, for Billy Joe Saunders, I mean, he could have prevented it. Could have prevented it at the end of the day. I don't feel bad for him at all. He just got to take the suspension, take the heat for it, work hard, and maybe he should just have all his fights in the UK and not go through VADA testing if he's going to continue to use that drug. Now, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.